Hello. I am Perez Hilton, and you are watching AntiNews. AntiNews, for those of you who are soulless, catty, ginger shills, that is the podcast for you and me.
Hello, welcome back to the Anti-News. Oh, there it is. There's that nice audio clip. I love when things, technological things, they work, but they work not when I want them to. It's still great. It'll still get the point across. But welcome back to the Anti-News. It is a lovely Monday night here in the studio that is my house room in Craig's basement. This is the place where we talk about all the things that are happening in the world and all the things that you really, really need to know about, and then we make fun of them because they deserve to be made fun of. All the things that people are screaming about in the world, they need to have their due disrespect from us every single week. So this is the place where you come if you want to kind of know what's going on, but you mostly just want to hear us make fun of what's going on. Craig is my co-host. I am Dan. That is my name. Craig, how are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic.
That is
my name.
Great. Hi, Craig. Hi.
Hi.
So, is there any... I feel like there was some new hashtag Fire Craig news that I wanted to report on, but I don't remember what it was, so I
Your
don't
bird, maybe?
Oh, that's right. I posted the bird, and... Oh, yeah. I posted the picture of my bird standing on my microphone, and the main reason I want to bring this up is because somebody felt the need to point out that there is a globe in the background, and they were like, nice job, you soulless ginger shills, or whatever. And, yes, I do have a globe on my desk, and the funny thing is that... the real troll in that scenario is actually Cole, because Cole last year for Christmas gave me a globe and a NASA shirt for Christmas, just to be a dick. So
nice.
Yep. I can't just throw it out. If I were ever to get rid of it, I would want to make a video of it burning or something, light it on fire. But...
You should just scorch it and then put it back.
Yeah.
Just burn it enough to just scorch the edges. I guess there are no edges on a globe, but close enough.
Or are there? That's
or
I see what
there.
you really believe, Craig.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You got me.
Anyway, this is where we drink the drinks and smoke the smokes. So, Craig, what are you drinking? What are you smoking?
Well, I have renamed my favorite drink because I got tired of explaining it to you, and it's the same thing as always. So now it is Jim and Java is what I'm going with.
Jim and Java? Is it really Jim Beam? Oh yeah, it was the Jim Beam bourbon, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Gotcha. Jim and Java, I like it. And you, what are you vaping on this eve?
As long as batteries last, because I forgot to charge my batteries. Well, those ones are almost charged, I guess. I had to opt for an off-brand, and it tastes like garbage, so I'm almost hesitant to say. It comes from a chain of shops called Aqueous. I know they're
Aqueous
kind
Vapes?
of floating. Aqueous Vapes.
We have one of those.
They're, yeah, I think I got it. I might have got it in the Quad Cities.
Okay.
Quad Cities or Bettendorf area or somewhere. This is caramel cappuccino. It's their house blend, and it kind of tastes like crap. I'm kind of getting over the creamier sweet flavors that I swore by. It started with coffee and tobacco flavors were my favorite, the combination, and those started tasting like crap. And then this caramel cappuccino I thought was going to be amazing, and now it's tasting like crap. So
yeah.
I'm moving more towards the fruity menthol, thanks to you. So I have on order from our soon-to-be sponsor. I think it was our anti-sponsor. I got the blue, what's
Snow
it called
My
again?
Gush.
Snow My Gush. And then I got the same, but it's the super fruity one with all the different fruit pictures. So it's just an explosion of fruit and mint in your mouth is what I'm assuming.
Sure.
So I can't wait till that gets here.
I did try. I purchased their the Fug and Vapor company that we always promote for some reason. They got a new line that is their Mario's line, and it's just a bunch of like, I don't know, pastry flavors and creamy flavors. And this is the Choco Loco. It's a chocolate ice cream. I got it.
Okay.
There's a reason why it's still pretty damn full. I've had it
They're
since
good.
New Year's. It's not great. It's I keep looking for a chocolate that doesn't suck, but the chocolates always seem to taste chemically to me. And
That's kind of this. Well, first of all, I usually do 3 mils of nicotine, and they only had 6, and
mhm.
so it's got that extra bite to it. And then the coffees and tobaccos both tend to me to have that super chemically flavor to them now, and it's just starting to
Yeah,
not appeal to my palate.
yeah. The chocolate tastes like you took a Tootsie Roll and dunked it in acid and ate it. And
Gross.
it the biggest problem is like that wouldn't be that big a deal. It's not terrible. It's just got a little bit of a chemicaliness to it. But the biggest issue is that you can't vape anything after it and have it taste like anything but chemical Tootsie Roll.
Right, that's this stuff too. I have that rose stuff. I can't remember what it was from last week. And I put it in after vaping some of this coffee stuff, and it just tasted like fruity garbage. It was
Yeah.
so bad because the chemically coffee taste blended with it. Even though it's pretty much completely empty, it still had it absorbed in the cotton, I guess, which tasted like crap.
Sure. And I am
Not a good
drinking.
combination.
I am drinking my recent go-to, the Spike Energies. Getting my caffeine on again tonight.
Gross. Why?
Because it helps me focus for some reason. Anyway,
Makes no sense.
I know, but it works. So here we are. Anyway, we did have a couple callers this week, and if you would like to be a part of this show, you are welcome to be. You can be a 30-second co-host of the show and call in to 309-716-3818. Leave us a nice, friendly voicemail, and we'll play it right here at the beginning of the hour in our intro. And we've got a few who called in today. We'll see what we've got once I do. Okay, here we go.
Hello, fellas. Lucas here. Just calling to say that, well, just filed my taxes today, and boy, does that hurt. I might just have a kid for the tax break. Gosh. Hashtag taxation is theft. I guess I'm right on that bandwagon with everybody else now. Have a good show. Hope you have something better to talk about than getting ripped off by the government. Bye.
I mean, do we ever really have anything better to talk about than getting ripped off by the government? I think that's kind of the point of the show.
I thought he was gonna, since he said it slowly, I thought he was gonna say something better to talk about than usual. I was like, "Where's this going, dude?" And then he's like, "Then the government." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
I was like, "Holy cow, you're going right for the ball shot."
It's all right. Yeah, Lucas, taxation is theft, and taxation is also gigantic headache. So I'm right there with you, and I will have to be doing the same soon. Just I was gonna say, be glad you're not like a small business owner like I am. I think he might be though. He's either an owner or I know that it's like a family business that he works for. But yeah, it's quite the headache. And it was like a month or two ago when I finally got my state tax return from last year back because we had so many back and forths with the frickin' Illinois government. That it took almost a frickin' year to get our tax return, and now we have to turn around and start the process all over again. Anyway, let's jump into the next caller. Let's see what we've got here.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Is that Peter Griffin?
That's either Peter Griffin or Owen Wilson. I'm not sure, but Owen Griffin, Peter Wilson. Thank you for calling in and your deep insight. For the time being, as long as we don't get like a million calls, we'll play every single caller's voicemail because we can. It's our show.
Yep.
All right, here is another. stellar content that you get on the Anti-News. Is that a baby?
Somebody pocket dial us?
That comes from number 1276 is the last 4 digits, or 1267 is the last 4 digits of their number. I have no idea what that was. I hope it was some baby who pocket dialed or something like that. That's
Sounded like somebody was listening to music in their car and happened to pocket dial. How would they pocket dial this number, though?
Right. It sounded like there was a split second of a baby talking there, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Well, thank you, baby. Thank you for your call. I really appreciate your support.
That was more input than we get from most. So,
all right, one more here.
Yeah. Hi. This message is for the gentleman at AntiNews. This is science guru. Moon Lover 69 is what I prefer to be called. That's my internet anon name. I was just calling in because I listened to your episode last week, and I had I found it disconcerting from the points that you were making about the moon landing being fake. If you look at the evidence, it becomes very painfully clear that the moon is actually the moon landing was not fake. You have to be a fucking idiot to even come to the conclusions that you're coming to. It's just preposterous, and I think that you need to go back to middle school and do a little bit more research before you start talking about things you don't know about. Okay? Thanks, bye.
Thank you, Moonlover69, for that deep
Does
insight.
Does Moonlover69 realize we don't do any research before we talk about shit on here?
Moonlover69 is clearly done a lot of his own research since, his big comeback was go back to middle school, you fucking idiots. All right. So thank you, Moonlover69.
I'll take it. That was constructive criticism, but I want to know, was it disconcerting or was it concerning?
I think he said disconcerting.
He said disconcerting, I think.
I don't know, but I am just based off of that interaction, I am having to rethink my views. Me too. That was like the equivalent of a YouTube comment in real life. So I really appreciate it.
A part of me assumes that this is just somebody trolling us and joking around with us.
Isn't that what all of the internet is?
What's that?
Isn't that what all of the internet is?
I mean, just like screwing with us, like one of our loyal fans just screwing with us. But another part of me thinks that this might be a real troll that is really disconcerted by our comments.
Yeah, on the moon landing. It sounds like it could go either way, honestly. Like it could easily pass off as some of the things that people actually do post in the YouTube comments on our videos. If one of them finally decides to call in, that's what it's going to sound like if that's not what that is. So, anyway, that's that. That's the intro. That's the pre-show. That's all the fun stuff from the beginning. You guys create the pre-show to this show now. So be sure to call in and leave us a nice voicemail and be a part of the show. 309-716-3818. All right, we are going to kick this thing off. We've got a lot of news to talk about and so little time to do it in. So here we go. Let's do this. You know, if it works. For the first time ever, if it works on the first try. Boom. Maybe?
All I ask is, if we have to give these bastards our lives, we give them hell before we do!
The tragedy of our day is the climate of fear in which we live.
Talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing.
I would ask the congressman to withdraw that comment and tell us that he didn't really mean that.
Half the Trump supporters do what I call activist support.
I don't know what I said. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
The Bible commands that certain people be put to death.
Thieves were possessing weapons of mass destruction. 9/11 attacks were carried out by Al Qaeda.
You can't handle the truth.
I remember that which matters most. We are still here!
We have to say yes to socialism.
Bet you want to know tomorrow. It's a big club. You ain't in it.
All right. So apparently we had some sort of super blood moon that was supposed to be the end of the Earth, and we all survived it again. That's the first news story, and I think that's all.
It was a super blood. It was a super blood wolf moon, is the exact terminology I saw. I know, this must have been serious. I was awake, but I didn't bother to look out the window because obviously it had to have been fake.
Well, yeah, because the moon's not real or something. But I'm pretty sure that we had quite a bit of cloud cover the last few days, and I probably wouldn't have seen it anyway. But who knows? But the most important thing is we all survived yet another apocalypse. Craig, congratulations.
Thank God.
All right.
Thank the moon.
That is correct. To thank the moon. All right, we are going to jump into some news stories and find out what is really happening in the world. First and foremost, I got to throw this out there. Well, we didn't talk about politics all that much last week because I didn't feel like it, and you didn't feel like it, which is great. But there's a whole lot of fun stuff going on in politics this week, so we'll have to jump back into the cesspool. But the most important news that I heard this week comes from WashingtonExaminer.com, so you know it's legit, and it is Hillary Clinton will run for president again in 2020, former advisors say.
I thought we already had this news. I thought she already said this like 2 months ago.
Wait. Yes, you are correct. Because this article is 2 months old. But
yes.
I heard rumor. I didn't hear that it was official that she would.
Yeah,
but
I'm not sure if it was official either.
And who knows if it even still is at this point? Because what is official at this point? We're like, it's still forever.
Do we even know
away.
if she's alive at this point?
Right. She's out in the woods somewhere crying still, but and probably going into seizures. Actually, she's out on the tours charging charging $50 for people to get in through Groupon. Yes. Anyway, I hope beyond hope, and I pray beyond prayer that Hillary Clinton runs again in 2020 because, good Lord, the amount of narcissism that you have to do what you did and go through what you did and still think it's my time. It's my time. Oh God, it's my time.
Well, she's still knocking on that glass ceiling. She has to.
That's right.
She's got to break through eventually.
Yeah, it's all about gender. It's not about the fact that she's a demon, a terrible, evil monster. But it's just because she's a woman that nobody likes her. All right. In that case, we'll move on. Some other short news. Bernie Sanders on Martin Luther King Day. This did come out today. Bernie Sanders said the president is a racist. In crucially early state South Carolina at MLK Day event alongside potential 2020 competitor Cory Booker. So basically the story is that Bernie Sanders called Trump a racist.
Wow, way to jump on that bandwagon against Trump.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job, Bernie. Way to say different things.
Yeah, so let me see if there's any quotes in here where he actually says why he thinks Trump is a racist. Today we talk about justice, and today we talk about racism. And I must tell you, it gives me no pleasure to tell you. It gives me no pleasure to tell you that we now have a president of the United States who is a racist, the senator asserted. That's deep and insightful. His description of Trump as a racist was included in prepared remarks that derided the Republican politician for his connection to the birther movement that sought to delegitimize Barack Obama's presidency. However, Sanders did not levy that part of the attack as written. He passed over it and moved on to a recognition of slavery and segregation in America's past. So we say to President Trump today, this country has suffered too long from discrimination. We are not going backwards. We are going forwards on the discriminatory society, he proclaimed. Okay, that tells me nothing. That tells me nothing at all. Let me jump down.
Absolutely not.
Do not be discouraged. That's
going against Trump. He's a racist, is all he's saying.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, and they might be leaving something out of this article, but as far as I can tell, yet another person calling Trump a racist as though that is, news to hear from a lefty, and not giving any example. I don't understand how the birther situation could be considered a racist act. Him saying that Barack Obama was not born in the United States. How is that racism?
Yeah, that had nothing to do with his skin tone or his race.
If he was a white guy from a different country, he'd still be a problem.
Right. Yeah. The fact that it took them how long to actually release the birth certificate still raises questions in my mind. But
yeah, not to mention the fact that there are, if you can look into some of the stuff, there's like marks that make it look like it was photoshopped and all that stuff, but
yeah,
I don't remember the details. I don't really give a shit, but
well, it was like they found an actual from what I saw, there was an actual birth certificate of somebody else, and they had copied and pasted the information off it, and you could see that the pen marks and stuff were exactly the same between them, and like the numbers or letters were exact replicas, if this wasn't photoshopped on the internet. But yeah, if you were to lay them on top of each other, the words were like the dates and stuff were an exact match. Yeah. So that's what that story was, but I don't know how legit that was or how photoshopped the original would have been.
Yeah, well, I mean, who cares? We're past it. No point in even bringing that up anymore because
he's not going to be president again anytime soon. So
hopefully,
I mean, who knows? Have to worry about that.
If the way things are going, I wouldn't be that surprised. But mostly, he's going to be a Netflix star very soon. But
yeah.
All right, so you heard about President Trump giving the sportsmen all the fine trimmings and the beautiful feast that he did. Correct?
No, I didn't hear about this.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
No.
The burgers?
Oh, yeah. I saw it kind of briefly, and there was people outraged that he gave burgers, but
there's still people outraged about this.
I thought it was way too stupid even for me to look into it, so I just went right past that one.
So the only detail that I want to know before I rant about this a little bit is I don't know who the sports team was or what their importance is in any way. Do you know who it was?
I have no clue. No idea.
All right.
Like I said, I breezed. I saw people outraged about him serving burgers, and I'm like, nope, I'm not even going to give this a thought because this is stupid.
Okay, well, this comes from BBC.com then, so you know it's legit. Trump orders 300 burgers to White House amid shutdown. U.S. President Donald Trump has put on a fast food feast at the White House, blaming the partial government shutdown for the lack of catering staff. He welcomed the winners of the National College Football Championship, the Clemson Tigers, with more than 300 burgers as well as fries and pizzas. Because of the shutdown, we went out and we ordered American fast food, paid for by me, he told reporters. Much of the federal government is out of operation because of the shutdown. It has affected an estimated 800,000 public, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? They're getting into a different article already. But so the story is he honored the Clemson Tigers by bringing them to the White House and serving them a shit ton of fast food. And
which
people,
I'm sure they were completely okay with eating.
And people are outraged. The biggest question to me is, who gives a fuck? Who cares? Who cares?
So where's the outrage? The fact that he used it to point out the government shutdown, or
that he's unprofessional? That he's unprofessional and that he wouldn't treat them to a presidential honor, like because they're sports ball people. Who cares? They got something. They got honored to come to the White House and have a meal with the president, and I kind of saw it more as a way of him being like, just being more down to earth and chilling with him. Like,
Right.
I would have appreciated it if it were me. If I was meeting with the president, I wouldn't give a shit what I ate. I wouldn't care if I ate anything, if he fed me at all. Like, he ordered a crap ton of food out of his own pocket and gave it to him, and good on him, because he shouldn't be using government money to pay for a sports ball entertainment team to eat fancy food. Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, it just, as we say time and time again, anything the man does, he could have offered them a gourmet feast and they would have thrown a fit that he
had 2
during
scoops of
the
ice cream.
shutdown. During the shutdown, he would go that extravagant,
Exactly,
and give them this elaborate feast when 800,000 workers are without jobs right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I of course, we have to briefly bring up the fact that the government is still shut down. How has it affected your day-to-day life, Craig?
I'm still here.
What changes have you seen in your day-to-day life?
I'm sure the only change that I will see is it'll probably slow down my tax return next month is probably all that will happen.
Yeah, and no guarantees of that even being a problem. I have seen nothing and don't expect to see anything of importance that has changed in my life.
I even had student financial aid come through during this government shutdown.
Nice.
So I'm not really sure what shut down. And I saw somebody comment, which makes a lot of sense. He was like, what corporation? Because they call them non-essential employees, because all the essential employees have to stay around work. When I was in the military and Obama shut down the government, which nobody made this big of a stink about, we were considered essential employees, even though we were very unessential to even the military. But we had to stick around because we were essential. But somebody was like, what corporation employs over 800,000 non-essential employees?
Just listen to the title. You don't matter.
Right.
You don't have to be there. Why are you there to begin with?
To cater the elaborate meals for the Clemson Tigers,
right.
Obviously.
It's important. All right, in other news, you heard about... This is probably my favorite article of the week. Easily, by far. Probably my favorite article of the year so far, which, I mean, we're still pretty early in the year, but this is a beautiful thing. And if Trump is pushing for me to vote for him in 2020, keep doing this type of thing, because I found this to be beautiful. You heard about the Polosi trip, right?
Yes.
Can
you be a bigger troll?
Just so great. Okay, we don't need to read the article in particular. I'll just read the the letter that Donald Trump wrote to Nancy Pelosi. He says, Dear Madam Speaker, due to the shutdown, I am sorry to inform you that your trip to Brussels, Egypt, and Afghanistan has been postponed. We will reschedule this 7-day excursion. I like that he uses excursion like it's just going to be her going on a vacation. We will reschedule this 7-day excursion when the shutdown is over. In light of the 800,000 great American workers not receiving pay, I am sure you would agree that postponing this public relations event is totally appropriate. I also feel that during this period, it would be better if you were in Washington negotiating with me and joining the state border security movement to end the shutdown. Obviously, if you would like to make your journey by flying commercial, that would certainly be your prerogative. I look forward to seeing you. I look forward to seeing you soon, and even more forward to watching our open and dangerous southern border finally receive the attention, funding, and security it so desperately deserves. Sincerely, Donald Trump.
So much trolling, so much trollery there.
Oh, it's so great.
I saw a post on Facebook that, because she was supposed to be visiting troops in Afghanistan, and I saw somebody had posted something saying how the Afghanistan troops, our troops in Afghanistan, were really upset because they were looking forward to this visit by Nancy Pelosi. I'm like, no, they weren't, because
nobody
when I was
in the
military,
world is looking forward to a visit from Nancy Pelosi.
If I was in when I was in the military, if they told me, hey, you're going to have to stay later today because the Speaker of the House is coming to talk to us, I would have been like, why the fuck do I care? I don't care. I mean, if it if it was the president or something like that, maybe I'm just not big enough into politics to care, and other people are.
No.
But if it was like the president, I would have been like, yeah, sure, I'll stick around. Or even if it was the vice president, I would have been like, nah, that's not really worth my time. But the fact that it was all these troops were upset, no, you're making stuff up now. I guarantee maybe one or two maybe a handful were upset just based on the fact that Donald Trump made the decision if they're anti-Trump, which I guarantee you there's not too many military people that are anti-Trump because they tend to be a very right-leaning breed.
Sure.
And so yeah, I don't buy it. I think it's all a lie.
Even if that were the case, even if there were some guys over there who are like, oh, I really wanted to meet the Speaker of the House. Tough. Who cares? Like, that is not something to be outraged about, that a couple of guys were bummed because they didn't get to meet Nancy Pelosi. That's not a good enough reason for, especially not a good enough reason. It's not a good enough reason to spend the money, and it's especially not a good enough reason to keep this kind of beautiful trolling from happening, because this was just my favorite thing that I've seen in a while.
Right. Yeah, it's fantastic. The act of grounding her flight was trolling enough, and then his letter just topped off the cake there.
Yes. Anyway,
so
go ahead.
We gotta get it while we're talking about Trump outrage and racism and such. You did hear about the racist college students who heckled the crap out of the Native American, and he felt threatened, and there was just a mass what's the word I'm looking for? A mass environment that he felt intimidated by, and all that outrage.
No, I didn't hear about that. I heard about the kid that was wearing a MAGA hat that had a smirk on his face and stood in a place while a Native American man walked up to him and seemed a little bit intimidating.
All right, so let's break this down a little bit, because when it first happened, and they talked about the 3-minute video of this kid getting in this guy's face and being disrespectful, everyone's like, there's not a story here. There's nothing here. And I'm like, but there's stuff to unpack here. There's definitely something to unpack.
The story is not the incident. The story is how the incident was handled by the media.
Right. Well, like I said, rewind a couple days ago before the actual story came out and everything that happened. Just the initial release, the initial post, and everybody's outrage, there wasn't much story there. When you watch the video, you see the Indian chanting, or the Native American. I don't know what to call. I mean, even Native American, Indian, I guess, could be.
Call him a redskin.
Yeah, he was. So for people who don't pay attention to what's going on, there was a video of these college students from this Catholic school from Kentucky, it says here, that took a trip to D.C. And so the video you see is this Native American playing this drum and doing a native chant. And these kids are all around. Some of them are laughing a little. Some of them are like attempting to chant along with. And there's this one kid that's standing just a couple feet from him with kind of a douchey smirk on his face. And the Native American keeps on chanting, and he just stays there. My initial reaction was, this kid's kind of a douche. He's kind of up in his face, but he's not doing anything wrong. Right. He's at most just being a douchebag.
Right.
And
he wasn't touching the guy. He wasn't yelling at the guy. He wasn't inciting violence or anything.
Along with the initial post, there was people saying that these guys were laughing and making fun of the Native American and chanting, "Build the wall, build the wall." And then there's a video of the Native American immediately following doing an interview, and he's like, they were chanting "Build a wall," and he starts crying. He's like,
one single Native American tear rolled down his cheek.
Exactly. I don't know how good of actors they are. He was saying how our ancestors never intended walls to be built or borders to be made. He's like, that wasn't our intention. In the back of my head, I'm thinking, they also probably didn't intend for casinos to be built either. But you tend to, not necessarily him, but they tend to
went back to his ancestors,
rake in the money from that.
If you went back to his ancestors and they had the option to have a government and build a wall to keep The white man out, would they have done it?
Yeah, right. So fast forward to today is when I read the actual official story, because little did I know, and you may not have known this either, that in 2019, more than one person possesses a cell phone with a camera on it. Did you know that?
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah.
Has technology advanced that far? And we still can't go to the moon. Sorry, Moon Lover 69.
Many of them actually record more than a 2.5-minute clip that is so conveniently fits into a narrative. Many of them actually record hour and 45-minute clips that get the whole picture of what's going on.
Ruh-roh.
And so the story came out. This one came out on January 20th. So was that today or yesterday? It would have been yesterday. And so this is more of the official story. This is in USA Today. And it says the Führer, I don't know if that's a good choice of words. The Führer, like Adolf Hitler, the Führer. The Führer over the behavior of a group of Catholic school students from Kentucky toward a Native American elder during weekend protests in D.C. took a turn Sunday with the emergence of a new video. The 1 hour and 46-minute video presents a fuller picture of the events Friday that culminated with students from the all-male Covington Catholic High School coming face-to-face with Nathan Phillips, a longtime Native American activist and Vietnam veteran, as he chanted and banged a drum in front of the Lincoln Memorial. A viral 3-minute and 44-second clip that shows the teenagers, several of them wearing Make America Great Again hats, laughing, hooting, and hollering while surrounding Phillips, drew widespread condemnation and prompted the school and the Diocese of Covington to issue an apology and promise to take appropriate action up to and including expulsion. The longer video of the incident is more complex, and now that it has surfaced, the rush to judge the teenagers who are in the nation's capital for an anti-abortion March for Life is coming under attack. The honorable and tolerant student, this is a quote by somebody, Republican Representative Thomas Massey, says the honorable and tolerant students of Covington Catholic School, why did you have to start with that? The honorable and tolerant students of Covington, why don't you just say the students of Covington School came to D.C. to advocate for the unborn and to learn about our nation's capital. What they got was a brutal lesson in the unjust court of public opinion and social media mobs. In a statement on Sunday, Nick Sandman, is that really his name? It's
yes.
Not
I've been referring to him on Facebook as Mr. Sandman.
It's definitely Sandman because there's two N's at the end, so you got to really enunciate the man.
Mr. Sandman.
Mr. Sandman at the school, who was at the center of the students' apparent confrontation with Phillips, defended himself and his family against the outright lies in the media. Both videos show Sandman, who was wearing a MAGA hat, staring at Phillips for more than 2 minutes while standing about a foot from him. So I was wrong. It wasn't a couple feet. It was a foot. I believed, this is Sandman talking, I believed that by remaining motionless and calm, I was helping to defuse the situation. I realized everyone had cameras and that perhaps a group of adults was trying to provoke a group of teenagers into a larger conflict. Sandman said he and his family have received death threats. Blah, blah, blah. Let's move on to a decent chunk of the article. The main speaker for... Okay, here we go. The fuller video would seem to assign more blame for the encounter on a group of 4 or 5 black Hebrew Israelites.
Black Jews.
Yes, black Jews. The main speaker for the black Hebrew Israelites
hollering
without a microphone for more than an hour first tells some demonstrating Native Americans they had their land taken away because they worshiped the wrong God. When the student party arrived later, the speaker launches into an attack on Catholics and against Donald Trump. He also calls the mostly white youngsters crackers. Eventually, the teenagers engage with one of them, taking his shirt off and leading the rest in a cheer, maintaining a distance. And what I've heard, it was just like their school chant is what it was.
Yeah.
Says, maintaining a distance of at least 15 feet, they launch into a chant. That's when Phillips and his fellow demonstrators walk in banging drums and getting between the groups, although no confrontation appeared imminent. So they didn't surround him. He moved himself and positioned himself into the group.
Yes. Basically, the actual story, as far as I have found in much digging today, is that these black Jews were yelling at the kids because they were wearing MAGA hats, calling them faggots and such, and other racial slurs against white people. And so the kids decided to start showing, like, just expressing school pride and just being belligerently loud to drown out the vile crap that the black Jews were saying to them. And the Native American guy, who we now know is a liar, walked over and got up in the face of the kid and seemed to be a little bit intimidating, as far as I can tell. And the crime that Mr. Sandman committed was not taking a knee, not bowing down, not moving out of the way for the guy. Like,
right.
The guy was up in his face. The guy seemed aggressive to him. And I heard somebody who was defending the Native American guy. I don't remember his name. It is definitely a very white-sounding name. But if you can find that, let me know.
The Native American was something Phillips.
Is it like Joseph or something? Or I don't know.
I'm looking right now. I just keep seeing Nathan Phillips.
Nathan Phillips, yes.
Playing drums.
A very Native American man named Nathan Phillips. Hello, my name is Nathan Phillips. If anybody was, guilty of doing anything wrong here, it's obviously the one party that nobody is focusing on at all, which is the black Jews. And if anybody else did something a little bit antagonistic, it would be Nathan Phillips by going over and getting up in the kid's face just because they were being too loud.
On one of the articles I read, which I forgot to save, and I haven't been able to find that article, one of the students or somebody filming said that the other Native Americans with him was yelling that white people need to go back to Europe, and white people need to leave our land that's rightfully ours and go back to Europe and stuff like that. And
then
so
Nathan Phillips goes on and sheds a single tear and says that these people are terrible racists and they were chanting for a wall and blah, blah, blah. Like, you went over and it sounds like they were being racist to them. And it looked like some of the kids might have been like, after Nathan got up in Mr. Sandman's face, it seemed like some of them might have been a little bit antagonistic, like just kind of poking fun. But what do you expect at that point? They were like, what the hell is going on here? There's a Native American dude who's chanting in our face.
And based on the article I read earlier, the Mr. Sandman guy who is up standing his ground or whatever, he actually motioned to the chanters in the background to like kind of stand down or like back off a little bit, like trying to keep things reasonable. But I don't know to the extent that the Native Americans were taunting them or they were taunting the Native Americans, but nobody is talking about these black Hebrew Israelites. Apparently in this article, not only were they calling them faggots, they were calling them a bunch of incest babies and referring them to as future school shooters and even calling the African-American students the N-word. And it's just like, how is nobody talking about these people? But for some reason, we're talking about the intolerance of the people wearing the MAGA hats, predominantly because they're wearing MAGA hats. And that is 100% to do with what this is about. It has nothing to do with what they did. It had to do with that they showed up in MAGA hats.
Yes, and you have like politicians and celebrities jumping the gun, coming out and saying that this kid needs to be punched in the face, and isn't that such a punchable face, blah, blah, blah. It's like the kid is he's literally just standing there, and he was approached, and all he did was nothing. Nothing at all. He smirked a little bit because he was uncomfortable. That's exactly what he should have done. What was he supposed to do? Walk away?
Yeah.
Now, also imagine if the MAGA hat wearing guys, or let's take the MAGA hats off, just white guys, white Bible thumpers, are up on the Lincoln Memorial, and they're shouting racist slurs and homophobic slurs at black guys walking by wearing MAGA hats. How about that? What do you think the story is there? Is the story about the Native Americans and the black people, or is it about the white
No.
guys being terrible people?
Yeah, it's more against the MAGA hat wearers. It's always going to be against the MAGA hat wearers because, I mean, what else would it be about, really?
Yeah, it just blows my mind that the main story here isn't black bigots shouting racial and homophobic slurs at MAGA hat wearing guys.
Because black bigots don't exist. That there's no such thing as black racists, remember?
Reverse racism.
You keep forgetting this. Yeah, that doesn't exist. That's not real either.
We came up with a term for it. They came up with a term for it. I call it just racism, but they came up with a term for it. Then they said that term doesn't mean anything. Makes perfect sense to me. But
sure, of course.
Anyway, that's fun and happy news, and it's just beautiful how much backpedaling is going on now that the bigger story is coming out.
Even if they were chanting "Build the Wall," first of all, that would make them look completely ignorant chanting that towards Native Americans.
Wouldn't it?
Second of all, according to every time, you can't just sing in bigots, and because that's the least racist thing that could have been said or chanted there, according to what the Jews or the through Israeli whatever they call themselves, they were far more saying. So even if they did break out into a chant of "Build the Wall," that racist as what was going on the other side, but nobody's going to cover that. No give that any attention because these privileged white kids are their mob mentality, which is what they kept was, and why Mr. Phil is so fearing for his life, because they were forming a mob and they had the mob mentality, and he was just terrified. It's just like you put yourself in that situation. If you were afraid of this mob, you march into the middle of
a mob of school children who are wearing a hat that you don't like. Also, you're cutting out, so we might have to reset here in a minute, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see if we can finish this out and if it gets better. Before we do that, potentially, let's go ahead and take a quick break to thank everybody who supports this show with their hard-earned and much-appreciated dollars. If you would like to have your name read on this list that is about to play in the video here, you can get that and much, much more by going to patreon.com/thesystemisdown and signing up for the Downers Club for as little as a cup of coffee a month. That's right, you can skip 1 cup of coffee a month and get a bunch of bonus audio and video content and get your name on this list and help keep the show going and growing and getting bigger and better and more beautiful. So here's that, if I can find the right button, and we will talk about a couple more stupid things on the other side. Here we go.
Hey, this is Gret Glyer from Donorcy, and you are watching AntiNews Live.
Hi, this is Ole Damgood from Light on Conspiracies, and you are watching AntiNews Live.
Hey, this is Brian McWilliams from Electric Liberty Land on the Lines of Liberty. You're watching Anti-News Live along with my lazy dog Hank here, who diarrheaed all over that couch. That's why that blanket's there. Enjoy!
And now it's time for that part of the show where we give a big thank you and a shout out to all the beautiful men and women who support this show with their hard-earned and much appreciated dollars. We could not do this without you. If you would like to increase the value of your life and get your name on this list, just go to patreon.com/thesystemisdown and join the Downers Club.
I'm done, I'm pissed, and I'm not putting up with it anymore. You Satanists want to sacrifice the West. You want to kill the beautiful goddess that is the West. You people are enemies, and we're going to get your asses, and we know what you're up to, and we're coming for you. So I've had enough of these people. Okay, so I've been containing this for the last week. That's why I've been in here sweating and getting pissed, because I can't handle it no more.
Hey, this is Toby from Bad Christian, and you're watching Anti-News. Hey, this is Toby from Bad Christian, and you're watching Anti-News.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lucas from the 29 Toes podcast, and you're watching the AntiNews Live. Fun fact, do you know anything that you drink out of this mug tastes 50% better? You should give it a try. Enjoy the show.
And enjoy the show you shall. Are you not entertained? All right. So that's that. Thank you guys all who support and keep the show going. You guys are awesome. But I also got to remind you guys, if you are not a member of the System is Down forum, that is the place where you can continue these conversations. You can come chat with Craig and I and a lot of the people who are on this show and the regular weekly show. You can just come on over to the System is Down forum by going to tsidpod.com/forum and asking to join, or you can just type in on Facebook, the System is Down forum. It's a fun, good, chill, laid-back time where everybody gets weird together. It's like a big, creepy conspiracy orgy over there. So go check it out.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
We said orgy literally at the same time. It was kind of cute, like it was planned.
Yeah, like it was planned. I have down in
like
the notes.
We complete each other's
orgies.
Yes, exactly.
I have down in the notes here. Say orgy at the same time. That'll be funny. Also, this is if you're not listening to this in like an actual podcast feed or whatever, the main show, the OG show, the interview show that I do every Monday morning comes out on Monday mornings. Go figure. It is just called The System is Down. It's where I interview people who get into things like conspiracies, politics, and religion, and we explore all different kinds of avenues of thought. And it's a whole lot of fun, and it rustles some jimmies and ruffles some feathers. So go check that out. If you're listening to this on iTunes or whatever, you can check it out in the same place. Pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts, wherever you're listening to this, that will be also. So check that out on Monday mornings. All right, let's talk about a couple more things here before we...
Are we getting away from politics? Because
you're still breaking up, man. Do you want to jump out?
Check.
Do you want to jump out of Skype and jump back in? So I don't have to restart this whole thing?
Yeah, let's try it.
Go ahead and jump out and call me back. And while he is gone, I will tell you about... Is there anything here that I can talk about by myself? Trump burgers we talked about. Yeah, we've got to talk a little bit more about a couple political things. If this were live, I would ask you, do you want to hear about politics right now? Or do you want to hear about some crazy, weird shit that's going on in the world? Because there's a lot of crazy, weird shit going on in the world. And I'm not sure. One of those two things we will talk about. The other will be saved for the after party. If you would like to hear the after party, if you don't know what that is, it's just more of this. Oh, thank you, Skype. Thank you for your beautiful, beautiful music, Skype.
No, I'm super dark. Not in a racist way, but I'm super dark, so hang on.
Ooh, dark and brooding.
I hate the webcam settings on Skype. Voice change when I close it out.
So, while you get your shit together, I will continue to say that after this, we'll be doing the after party, which is either going to be talking about more politics or talking about some weird, crazy shit that's going on in the world. But the after party is the continuation of this show, where we keep breaking down some more stuff, some more crazier stuff, and talk about some behind-the-scenes stuff that's going on in the show. It's the extended version. It's the director's cut, and you can get that by going to patreon.com/The System is Down and signing up for the Downers Club. All right, Craig, did you want to talk about politics or weird shit?
Weird shit. And
Okay.
I've got some weird shit.
All right. You sound a little strange, but you're not glitchy at least.
You hear me? Check.
It sounds like you're talking through an old ham radio, kind of.
I don't understand.
I don't understand either.
What is...
You're blurry, too.
Oh, it's Skype.
There you clear. Maybe it's just
Okay.
catching up. So go ahead and jump into the story.
All right, so I'm going to get more into like the conspiracy stuff because that's what I'm more interested in than all this stupid bullshit outrage that we continually cover because it's there. So not even a month or two ago, my conspiracy brain would kind of weird people because they'd say stuff about like John McCain dying, or I'd obviously utter the words, "What, did they stop feeding him his baby's blood?" And they'd be like, "Huh? What?"
I know where you're going with this. I've got the same story pulled up.
I just leave it at that. Yeah, so this is a real thing now.
Yep.
Like, this is no longer a conspiracy. A controversial startup is charging $8,000 to fill your veins with young blood. Now claims to be up and running in 5 cities across the U.S. This came out 2 days ago. Says to Jesse Karmazin, a startup founder and Stanford Medical School graduate, blood is the big government-approved drug. Roughly 3 years ago, Karmazin launched Ambrosia, a startup that fills the veins of older people with younger donors, hoping the procedure would help conquer aging by rejuvenating the body's organs. A Business Insider previously reported there's little to no evidence to suggest that this would work, yet people are paying $8,000 to do it.
Yep. That's where we are now.
Company's now up and running. Karmazin told Business Insider on Wednesday. Ambrosia recently revamped its website with a list of clinic locations and is now accepting payments for the procedure via PayPal.
Wow.
2 options are listed. 1 liter of young blood for $8,000.
Hold on. I like how PayPal will not allow Alex Jones to process funds to his account, but they will allow startups who take the blood of the youth and give it to elderly vampires to try to maintain their youngness.
So 1 liter of blood costs
Your video's totally frozen now.
$8,000.
I don't know if that matters to you or not. Your audio's good.
It doesn't. 1 liter of blood, young blood, it says. 1 liter of young blood is $8,000, or 2 liters, $12,000. That's a freaking insane amount for a liter of blood. When you go and get paid, if you go donate plasma, you get paid like $35 to donate like probably a liter's worth. And if you donate blood, they take a liter everywhere you go, I think. Or is it a pint? I don't know. Maybe a liter's a ton, but who knows? They take a specified amount. But yeah, it's $12,000 for 2 liters of this. In the fall, Karmazin, who is not a licensed medical practitioner, well, that's fair, told Business
off to a good start.
He planned to open the first Ambrosia. Are we going with Ambrosia or Ambrosia?
Ambrosia.
Okay. The first Ambrosia clinic in New York City by the end of the year. That didn't happen. Instead, he said the site can get the procedure include Los Angeles, San Francisco, Tampa, Florida, Omaha, Nebraska. That's not too far from me. That's only like a 3-hour drive. And Houston, Texas. In 2017, Ambrosia enrolled people in the clinical trial designed to find out what happens when the veins of adults are filled with from younger people. While the results of the study have not been made public, Karmazin told Business Insider in September that they were really positive. Of course he said that, because
no, he came out and said, like, it didn't work. It doesn't work, actually.
Doesn't do shit.
Keep paying for it. Doesn't work, though.
1 year, how do you measure the exact results of something like this?
Also,
especially when you're putting it in old people. Like, now glowing, do they instantly have like smooth, or did it cure cancer, or are they walking more?
Makes
more,
their wrinkly
like,
old ball sacks
more
shrink up a little bit.
Oh, it gives them a better erection, is what it probably does. More blood flow, more baby blood.
We'll get into that article next, but
okay.
Yeah, I'm curious. Does it say if the children who are giving this blood to the elderly, it sounds so wrong to even say out loud, but does it say how much they're paid to give their blood? Because if they're charging literally $8,000 for blood transfusions, shouldn't the children be making bank off of this?
They're probably getting the $35 you would get normally, like normally giving plasma.
If they're getting that, they're probably locked in a basement somewhere.
Says there appears to be significant interest. A week after putting up its website in September, the company received roughly 100 inquiries about how to get the treatment, probably from high rate politics or big those who want
Hillary
forever.
Clinton.
Yes, that's why she's able to run again. After receiving an unspecified treatment, Hillary Clinton has announced that she is in top physical health to run again for president.
And by run, you mean she's literally able to sprint again. She's able to handle long stands in 80-degree weather on 9/11 memorial services and walk up and down stairs unaccompanied.
So get this, that stuff I was just telling you comes from a guy named David Cavalier, who was Ambrosia chief operating officer in the fall. It says in January, Cavalier told Business Insider he's left Ambrosia, leaving Karmazin as the company's employee. So
the company's
it's
what?
just him.
You're cutting out.
When this David Cavalier left, Karmazin, the CEO or founder, is now the company's only public employee. So it's just him. He's the only one.
It's literally a dude. That's doing
one
this.
Guy.
Not a medical dude, just a dude taking blood, giving it to old people.
He's got clinics that are doing it, so I don't know if he's like outsourcing it to existing clinics or what. It says before departing from Ambrosia, Cavalier worked with Karmazin to scout several potential in New York and organize talks with potential investors. So I'm wondering if they're just outsourcing. So basically, he's just kind of the middleman, supplies the blood is found. He's the one making bank off of it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how this is gonna work.
I don't know. It's
you just
absolutely horrifying.
Stop and think about what could possibly go wrong here. I mean, is there anything that could possibly go wrong?
Nothing, obviously.
I don't know. I mean, does this lead? I mean, if it's that big of a cash cow, when does there turn into a black market child blood farm? Where they're bringing children for their blood to sell?
Yeah.
If they're charging $8,000,
if they find out that they're taking it from young people. It's not exactly babies yet, but if they're taking it from like 16, 17, 18-year-olds and it has to be the young people with the young blood, and they figure out that it works, does it work better if it's from newborns?
I don't know. You think if this were real, somebody would have discovered it a long time ago when blood transfusions became a thing, back in the 60s or...
somebody's tried it before now. I mean, come on.
Well, obviously, there's been many instances where older people who have severe injuries and need blood transfusions have had transfusions from young donors. Where's the evidence had any effect on them? Oh, all of a sudden he was running marathons after his blood transfusion. It was just amazing. So there's got to be something. You would think something made it makes sense that people would want to pay $8,000 to get these blood transfusions. Like, this is not a new concept of donating blood. So why is this just now all of a sudden? Oh yeah, you'll longer if you pump this blood into you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure there are plenty of old people that have had their entire blood source like completely replenished with young people when they're like bleeding and just constantly more and more blood cycled into them. I'm sure their entire amount of blood was completely replaced, and there's never been any crazy story of any effects of.
I mean, I'm no scientist, but I find it hard to believe that this is going to do anything at all. If you take blood from an eagle and put it into a human, does that make them fly? Like, I feel like blood is blood, and it doesn't age. Your blood doesn't get old. It can get bad, but that doesn't.
It might have. Maybe it has more, the stuff that fights disease and stuff in it. It might have more of
Sure,
the good
it's not
blood,
gonna
like
make you
white blood
younger.
cells and stuff like that. No, it won't make you younger. It might make you more able to fight off certain illnesses, but I would think that would be about the extent of it. Maybe it'll carry more oxygen.
I still
Maybe
feel
there's
like,
iron in it.
I mean, one cycle through your stream and it's going to be old. Because your body's still old.
Yeah, because it still has to run through all your systems.
All the shit that
and
you've already done to
cycle
your body
through.
has to get through that.
So, I don't know. Maybe, but I feel like this is a gigantic scam. Maybe, or it's just their way of coming out in a nice way and saying, "Yes, we have been drinking baby's blood to make us live forever." Maybe that's it too.
I mean, my conspiracy antenna is erect in thinking that this is, if anything, it's either a scam or a way to normalize more, creepy cannibalistic type nature of just dehumanizing. And I don't understand what is going through these people's head to make you pay $8,000 to replace your blood. It's not going to do anything. And if it's going to do something, you should be concerned about what it is.
Right. It's a new fad. It's going to be a Hollywood fad really soon, probably.
Yep.
Did you hear Jennifer Aniston just got a dose of baby's blood today? Isn't she glowing because of her new blood?
Good Lord. It's kind of like Sandra Bullock and her taking of her doing this treatment for skincare where they take the foreskins of babies and they grind them up into some sort of cream, and that is supposed to make you rejuvenated. This is a thing. Look it up.
Gross.
Yep.
What does that smell like? What's the scent of that?
Smells like evil.
I was gonna say, it's pretty soon on the Reddit, they're not gonna ask you what you're wearing. They're gonna ask like who your blood is. Like, so who are you wearing?
Right.
Like,
whose foreskins are on your
blood?
face, and what is your blood source? Anyway, speaking of horrifying things, this will be our final article of the evening for this main anti-news, and much more in the after party. But Craig, I sent you the video, or I told you to go check out the video earlier of PETA's new ad campaign. Last week we talked about Gillette taking their stand against quote-unquote toxic masculinity and all that bullshit. But this week, the toxic masculinity attack comes from PETA. And okay, so this is, I'm just going to pull up a screenshot here and let you guys watch this ad that is a real ad that PETA created to attack masculinity. And the Twitter story is, hold on, let me switch over to this. The Twitter post says traditional masculinity is dead in all caps. The secret to male sexual stamina is veggies. And I'm going to play this. I'm not going to say anything else before you watch this atrocity. So here goes nothing. Increase your sexual stamina. Go vegan. So that's what we're dealing with here. First and foremost, they're saying that this is a way to that going vegan is a way to increase men's sexual stamina and to prove that they basically have vegetable porn. If you're listening to the audio of this, Craig, do you want to explain what this is? What we're seeing here?
So, first of all, again, I've never been more uncomfortable watching vegetable in a commercial before. So, basically, it is a bunch of dudes around with vegetation, like various forms. There was a carrot, there was like a giant squash, just all kinds of different long phallus-shaped vegetables hanging off their pants, and they're dancing like male strippers doing the helicopter with these flat vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't the flaccid carrot like doing a helicopter whip. It was the guy with the banana pointing straight up, and it was just resembled a man walking around with a erection and just being completely okay with it. And I'm just like, that's literally what the video was, except they did cut to the famous statue, I think it was by Michelangelo, who knows, Adam with his
David.
little man. Oh yeah, David with his little man penis, and then all of a sudden they photoshopped over his little man parts with this squash with two, like, I can't remember what they had for balls.
They
but
had the eggplant there.
Oh yeah, it was an eggplant, like kiwis or something.
Uh-huh.
I remember. Furry, whatever they were. And then it cuts back to the men jumping around with the vegetation hanging from their pants. And like I said, never been more uncomfortable to watch. I almost, I don't know. It was really bizarre to me, and that would be allowed on television.
I don't know if it was on TV.
Public,
I'm guessing it was just on the internet, but still.
If it does air on TV, man, that people should be outraged by that, because it doesn't get. I mean, the only thing that could be more uncomfortable if the men were actually dancing around with their penises out, in my opinion.
If Peta was a right-leaning organization, this would be outrage-worthy from the left, because it's like showing toxic masculinity. It's showing toxic masculinity, men swinging things around. But the biggest thing that stands out to me is they're trying to make it seem like this is a great thing, like like eating vegan will give you sexual stamina, which is not true. It's been proven false. But most importantly, they're making it seem like these guys are the ones that you want to be like. And the first guy to pop up, let me pull this up here. This first guy, he looks like the creepiest, most stalker, I don't know, like, he just looks like a rapist. He looks like... What?
With vegetation, it's a penis, so it doesn't get creepier than that to begin with.
There isn't too many guys in this video that seem like somebody you would want to, model yourself after. They look like creepers, like they look gross. And that's their ad campaign to get people to eat more vegetables, is make vegetables look like dicks and have very creepy, rapey looking guys swing them around. I'm convinced.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure how this battles toxic masculinity, because it's still talking about like massive erections.
Right.
And
well, that's the thing. This isn't necessarily. This is more of a push for veganism, but there's this other article that I've pulled up from PETA.org that says APA's toxic traditional masculinity should include hunting and eating animals. So they are taking stands against quote-unquote toxic masculinity. I'll just read a little bit of the article. For the first time in its 127-year history, the American Psychological Association, or the APA, has issued guidelines for psychological practice with boys and men to address the harmful aspects of, quote, traditional masculinity. Of course, the quote, dominance and aggression characteristics of this type of masculinity isn't only destructive for boys and men, it's also deadly for other species. Along with misogyny and going out of one's way not to appear weak, the APA links traditional masculinity ideology with traits like bullying and violence, two major red flags for animal abuse. Imagine having such a fragile sense of self that you'd torment, kill, and eat defenseless individuals just to look, quote, manly. It certainly takes a bully to destroy the lives of sensitive, conscious others in an effort to validate one's identity in terms of an archaic ideology dictating what it means to be a man. Bullfighters drunk on machismo stab and slaughter bulls for sport. Trophy hunters display dead animal parts on walls in desperate attempts to embody big bwana masculinity. A psychologist... What?
Nice way of saying is that a nice way of saying to show off their big balls that they had to catch this?
I don't think I've ever heard the term big bwana, but I'm guessing yes, that's what they're going for. A psychologist might say a man needs counseling if he tries to prove his manhood by gunning down a 2-pound bird or killing a struggling fish. Men who eat steak, hot dogs, and hamburgers thinking that it makes them real men are eating themselves to an early grave. As the APA points out, men in general eat fewer fruits and vegetables than women do. American men also consume 57% more meat than women do, yet it's no secret that meat consumption has been linked to an increased risk of suffering from numerous health problems, including heart disease, obesity, cancer, strokes, and diabetes. Men have a higher risk of every one of these. Did we mention the link between eating meat and erectile dysfunction? So that's how they're making the comparison here. Men eat meat, and so they get erectile dysfunction, and that's also bad because they're killing other individuals for sport and for fun.
Actually, I've heard plenty of studies that say in order to boost your testosterone level, you should eat more red meat.
I have heard the same. Ever hear of the carnivore diet? I've heard that it definitely increases male stamina. So, I don't know.
But it also makes you a rapist.
It makes you a rapist, yes.
So, let's go back to the bullying and innocent killing of other species individuals. All other species all other carnivorous species is in the same thing. They kill other species for food.
Yep.
It's not a toxic masculinity thing. It's a survival tactic.
Mm-hmm.
And other creatures, the males are responsible for killing the food. In some species, the females are responsible for hunting down the food. But either way, that is has nothing to do with masculinity. The only thing I have to do is we developed as a species with the men being the hunting, the women being the more homemaker type, and that's just how we developed, and that same is true in other species. There are plenty of distinctions between male and female, between who stays at home and creates the nest or creates the den or cares for the young and stuff like that. It's not a human specific trait. It's just a species trait, and it's ridiculous to just erase. Some people say thousands, some say billions of years of development just because bad. It's because vegans or liberals say this is bad. They're bullying other animals. Trophy hunting or what thing they listed? Oh, bullfighting. You can't lump those in the same category as hunting for food or deer hunting or raising animals for food. It's two completely separate actions. It's like saying sex and are in the same category. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, all those people that want to have sex and then the people that want to those are two completely different. Yes, it's the same action, two completely motives. It's just ridiculous that they're lumping this all together and saying how And now they got the AP on board saying how this is a problem and we need to eat less meat because this is causing be just violent males and showboating with our big buanas or whatever they said.
Yes, big buanas. It's all complete and utter horse shit. Yeah, I'm not a fan of trophy hunting. I'm not a fan of bullfighting. I don't think people that do are terrible people. I don't think it's the I don't see it as necessary, and I don't think you should do it. But if the good Lord didn't intend for us to eat meat, He wouldn't have given us sharp teeth and made animals taste delicious. Until you prove that they're, conscious, intelligent beings, and even if you do, I mean, what do you do? At some point, we're gonna have to look at plants. The fact that trees can communicate with each other and say, stop chopping down the trees, stop eating vegan food too, stop eating plants.
Hey,
and then what do you do?
Hey, plants have feelings.
What do you do?
You start with the minerals. You start like scraping minerals off the rocks, I guess,
right?
And trying to sustain yourself with that. But to kind of go back to what you said about our sharp teeth, no other herbivorous or however you pronounce that, no other plant-eating animal has canine teeth. What?
Herbivorous.
I'll let you vape. Sure. No other eating animal has sharp canine teeth to rip into the flesh of meaty animals. I mean, if you look even at like dinosaur fossils, the ones that they know were plant-eating animals was because their teeth were all the teeth that they found were mostly flat, and the ones that they figured ate meat had sharp, pointy teeth, like humans have for some developed. Maybe we just evolved it because of our toxic masculinity.
Yeah,
high testosterone is what produced canine teeth.
That's it.
I don't know.
I'm sure. Well, yeah, Craig, you've been cutting out for a while, but I think we got the gist of it, and we should probably restart some things. But we're gonna wrap up anyway. So I gotta end on look at the tiger. The tiger eats meat all the time, and he's got a big raging boner hard on all the time too. I don't think they have erectile dysfunction. You don't look at the tiger and say that thing is a terrible thing for doing what nature intended. That thing is a terrible thing because it eats other individuals, as you would say. If you're going to act like humans are murderers for eating meat, then you have to act like every single carnivorous animal is also a murderer and should be put in prison. PETA will also argue that tigers should not be put in cages in zoos. However, they should be put in cages in prison based on your own standards that you have created. So let them out of the zoos, put them in the prisons, I suppose, because we're all heathens, us and tigers and lions all alike. So go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, that reminds me of a discussion I had in a class talking about like male violence, the male porn violence or whatever they're calling it. I think I discussed it a little bit, how it was this video I had to watch with this panel of people discussing the violent males and stuff like that, and how we have just learned as a society to be aggressive, and there's no violent gene that makes males violent. It's just what we over the years have learned through society. And my comment was that is 100% bullshit, because it's a proven fact that high levels of testosterone causes aggression. That's why people that go on steroids have roid rage, because of their excessive amounts of testosterone in their body. And then I went on to say that if you look at any other species will just, the male female, and our standards would rape it. It doesn't ask for
right.
To go out and murder another species to eat it. That is just nature. That's the animalistic nature, and we have that animalistic nature, but it is our humanity that stops us, that tells us, no, it is wrong to go out and rape women, or it is wrong to just murder people. It's a natural animalistic concept, but it's our humanity that kind of pulls us out of that. It's not a learned trait. It's just a developed trait, because that's how we survived back in thousands of years ago or even hundreds of years ago was by killing the weaker ones that tried to overpower us so we would survive. And it's just like we're at a point now where that's not necessary for survival, so we have to move away from that. But you can't say, oh, we're just bad, shitty human beings and we're the only ones that go out and rape our females and kill things. I'm not saying rape is natural, you should rape people. I'm saying as humans, not to do this, but the aggression and the violence isn't something that we just learned recently. This is something we had to develop out of, and it's just stupid that we're attacking males now, the least masculine generation of males that's ever existed, and saying that toxic masculinity is a problem.
Right.
Because I mean, it's not. I mean, there is a handful of shitty people out there, just like there's a handful of women that throw babies in dumpsters. That doesn't mean all women throw babies in dumpsters. I know you saw that post that I posted based on that. That was comparing the two. So that's not mine. But yeah, that's my soapbox. It's just like we need to stop demonizing all males and all meat eaters because of a few bad eggs that are horrible, shitty people, and just learn how to just be humans.
Yep. You know, if somebody's a dick, be he a man or be he a woman, call him a dick. I don't like 90% of third wave feminists. Because of their toxic femininity, I don't like them, because they are violent, aggressive, hateful, evil people that have ill intentions for certain people in this world. I don't like white supremacists either. I don't like any bigot, any evil person. I don't like them. But I don't hate all women because some women suck. I don't hate all men because some men suck.
Or all white people because all white people suck.
Right.
Or because a few white people suck or are racist. Or same with like black people. It's like we don't hate black people. We just hate shitty people. We don't hate white people. We just hate shitty people. It's like we got to find a distinction.
I do hate black people, but just the shitty ones.
Yeah. somebody's gonna clip that out.
We should make a T-shirt that says "I hate black people" on the front, and then on the back it says "but just the shitty ones."
I think you'd probably get beat up for that. Or
probably.
Maybe we should take it a step back and just say I hate the Jews, but just the shitty ones.
Oh, I don't know if that's a step back or a step forward. But that seems like a good place to wrap it up, if there ever was one. So we're going to get out of here.
That's the good place to wrap it.
I think so. I think that's the best line to leave it on. And I'm going to go back and clip Craig saying that thing that he said, which I'm not going to repeat because then he can clip me saying it. But thank you guys for listening, and we're going to jump over into the after party and do some more fun stuff. I've got some more political stuff and some more crazy, weird things to talk about. So if you want to get that, please support the show. Please share the show with a friend, but go support the show with your taxed money. I'm sorry. It's there. We have to make a little bit of dough off of this to put it back into the show. It all goes back to you. You're paying for making the show better for you. So you're only helping yourself in supporting the show because every single penny goes back into making it the best experience it possibly can be for you, and building it and expanding it and etc. So go over to patreon.com/The System Is Down and sign up for the Downers Club for as little as $5 a month. And there are other tiers with other fun little trinkets and baubles that you can get for yourself if you want to support. So go do that and continue to tell people about the show and continue to, of course, question everything and stay uncomfortable. And we will talk to you next time. Craig, do you have any final thoughts before we go?
Yes. My final thought just came up is if we were to proclaim ourselves as a church or a religion, deem ourselves as a church, could people donate pre-tax?
Yes,
so that way they don't
John
have
Oliver did that. Maybe we should try that.
I think based on the really definitions of religion, I think we could probably have something going here.
You heard it here first, folks. Let's start a cult. All right. Until next week, Have fun. Be bad. Question everything. Stay uncomfortable. Here's some jib. We'll talk to you next time.
So here's my pledge to you. I will be a commander-in-chief that will have the back of the military. I won't trash talk. I won't be a divider-in-chief or an agitator-in-chief. I won't be out there blowharding, talking a big game without backing it up. I think the next president needs to be a lot quieter, but send a signal that we're prepared to act in the national security interests of this country, to get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.